this will be a conclusion video to the multi-part series which I did. If you guys are new to the channel, I went ahead and I documented my pre-order experience for the 30th anniversary MX-5. From there, I test drove a club trim in anticipation of what I was going to be expecting, and I compared the experience to the S2000 that I had. And finally, for it to be the pre-order finally arriving at the dealership, and me being torn between trading the Golf R in for a Miata as a daily driver. Uh, if you guys want to hear stories, stick around, but unfortunately, I decided to let the Miata go, so I am keeping the Golf R. But before doing that, I want to go ahead and just dive right into the top 5 reasons that made me almost go ahead and skip out on the Golf R and just forget everything that started my channel, basically. Number 5, it'll be Recaro seats. I think the best interior option would be the Recaro seats as a performance aspect as well, because it does provide the driver with the necessary body support. It comes with the red piping on a normal Miata, but for the 30AE, it comes with the orange trim, the racing orange piping that matches the exterior, matches the side doors, and also for the 30AE, it matches the HVAC controls. Moving on to number 4, because I was considering the Miata as a daily driver, I think the modern amenities such as the safety features, your backup camera, safety features such as your lane departure warning, your blind spot monitoring, your pedestrian detection. Hopefully I don't ever have to need it, but it's good to have if I were to consider the Miata as a daily driver. If you had a Miata as a weekend car or like a track car, yeah, those features that you probably won't need. But because I was spending it and considering it as my daily driver, it's something that I wanted to have. Number 3 would be the shifter and clutch combo. So getting into a Miata, both test drive, the club trim and the 30AE, I felt it took me like a minute to get used to it, 2 at max. I'm like, wow, it just feels like home. Shifter was great. Felt notchy, but not too notchy. Everything was easy to shift, smooth. In the Mark 6, I had to tweak the shifter system to my liking. The S2000 was great right off the bat. However, since it was like, you can't really blame the car, the Honda, but since it was an older car, the shifter popped out a third when I was driving in the highway or as normal driving and back into neutral. So that's kind of annoying to deal with. Moving on to number 2, I would say the RF body style. I wasn't following a Miata as a community, but once the launch edition RF trim came out, that was when I started following the Miata. Even to this day, I still think that ND2 RF trim is one of the best looking convertibles out there. And given that, I think if I were to go for the hatchback, the RF, the hardtop, I won't have to deal with the winters. Back then with the soft top, the S2K, I had to worry about the snow piling on the soft top. I have to worry about water leaking. A little bit of water leaking was happening in the S2K. With the hardtop, you don't have to worry about that. But moving on to the last reasoning, Mark 6, I traded in for a Mark 7 because of the clutch issues. And also because, I didn't really want to deal with traffic and driving a stick shift every day. But that was different because I had a DSG and also an S2K as a weekend car, so I had the best of both worlds. It's been it's been a year since I traded in since I sold the S2K. So it's also been 2 years since I had the Mark 7. So daily driving and automatic, I really wanted to I wanted myself to get back into driving stick because it is a weekend driving experience that I miss. And that's why I looked into the Miata itself. I think giving up the practicality of it was one of the reasons why, it made me rethink, which is a good segue point into the reasons why I decided to let the Miata go. I waited for the pre-order for about 5 or 6 months, I think. And in terms of in the time between, I kind of honestly got over the fact. Initially, when I had the chance to pre-order it, the hype beast in me was more like, hey, 3,000 worldwide, 500 or so in the US, eventually 643 because 143 allocations were moved to the US. I was part of that 643, but that feeling went away overall after waiting for it because I think the responsibility side of me kind of kicked in. The dealership that I decided to go ahead and have my car shipped to decided to go ahead and tack on a markup. They actually fulfilled my request and not touch the car. The car had 4 miles on it before they called me. Everything was still like tacked on, like the protective filming, the plastic covering on the seats, the Recaros, everything was still on the car. The trade-in price wasn't really what I wasn't feeling the trade-in price. I thought my car was worth more. But having said all that, test driving the 30 AE, I was willing to set all that aside. I was gonna, because test driving was really fun experience, just straight from factory, Bilstein dampers, no body roll, shifter clutch combo, great. The target top experience was great. Wind in my hair, all that, right? I want to go ahead and just kind of talk about the numbering system with the Mazda MX-5 30 AE. They only had one badging out of 3,000. Mine was 1917, which is wasn't significant in terms of numbering, but it was like 718 for Brooklyn. I think that would have made it given me like kind of like a hard time. It would have been like, hey, I gotta have this car, or maybe even especially 1986. If it was 1986, oh man, that would have been like a different type of story because maybe the hype beast of me would have kicked in again. So in conclusion, the MX-5, such a great car. There's no doubt about it. Um, it would be a perfect two-car garage to complement your daily driver and your weekend driver. The whole experience taught me to experience the Golf R more, appreciate the Golf R even more because this car is what got me started in my YouTube channel or my YouTube career. But in the meantime, what's planned next for the R? I think I'm ready for power mods. I have a JP4. I keep talking about it. Still haven't installed it. It's right there, sitting right there. So maybe that's next in time for boost season. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Your comments, your support, and I'll see you guys in my next Golf R video.